If you're old enough, there are 3 times in your life that you remember exactly where you were when you heard the news. The first was when John F. Kennedy was shot. I was 5 and I remember it vividly. I was in the living room watching Mighty Mouse cartoons when Walter Cronkite came on and announced that the president had been shot. We remember where we were when we heard of Elvis Presley's passing. And as a 19-year-old driving home with his stepfather, exhausted from a long day of work, suddenly from the radio, I heard the words that sent shockwaves around the world. Elvis Presley, dead at the age of 42. And then finally, who could forget where we were when we watched the World Trade Center fall? The Pentagon struck, or when we heard the immortal words, "Let's do this," as the passengers mounted an offensive attack that ultimately led to the intentional grounding of the plane, Flight 93. They died so that others might live. I just finished dressing for work and had come into the living room on my way to the kitchen for my morning cup of coffee. And my wife, who was standing in the middle of the living room, intently watching the news, suddenly uttered the words, "We're under attack." And I, like most everyone else, was unaware of the plane heading toward the Pentagon or Flight 93. And for a moment, as I watched the smoke billow out of Tower 1, I suggested that this might simply be a horrific accident. And I believed it until, in utter shock, I watched the second plane fly into the second tower. We were under attack. For the first time in my lifetime, we were hit at home. Many have said that this incident was our generation's Pearl Harbor. And I might have been guilty of that analogy myself until I thought about it. Well, it was an attack on the homeland. Pearl Harbor was a military installation, and the attackers were military personnel from a foreign nation that had decided to declare war on us. And most of those killed that fateful day were from our military. This was a cowardly group, attacked unsuspecting citizens as they were working through what they thought would be another typical day. And on this day, 2,996 citizens would be lost to us forever. Many of them were first responders, police and fire, who died in an effort to save others. I'm not sure why this day is not a national holiday. This date should forever be a day of mourning, a day of reflection, and a day to remember lest we ever forget. In our home, we'll celebrate the bravery of our heroes who died in sacrifice. We'll mourn the loss of those who were robbed of life's great gifts long before their time. And we'll pray for the leaders of this country that they be granted with the wisdom and foresight so that we never again feel the scars born of attack on our soil. We'll ask God to bless our brave men and women in blue, in the military, firefighters, and medics, all of whom represent the best of who we aspire to be as a society. God bless this great nation, heal our wounds, and bring us together as one nation under God.